What's going on, guys? This is Raymond Ironbody McKinney. Today, I want to talk about video games. And one thing I find fascinating about video games. I don't play a bunch of video games. I watch them. Sometimes I watch videos where people talk about video games. And one thing in particular I want to talk about is FPS, frames per second. Something, for example, maybe something like 30 frames per second versus 60 frames per second. The more frames there are, 60 second, and that means within that second, there are 60 frames within that second. The more frames are, the more detailed the video game is. And the less frames there are, the more kind of you'll notice things like a couple glitches and errors and a couple of things that are kind of little funky, I guess. I can't even think of the right word. But where did those frames per second had to be generated from someone's frame of mind who generated the video games, who conform to the laws of physics, the laws of the principles of mathematics, knowing how to use frames per second. And I always talk about this, guys. Frames of mind. The worlds were framed by the word of God. That one Bible verse is really talking about frames of mind. And when I talk about stuff like the Bible, guys, I'm looking at it as an instruction book to use our mind in a practical way. Kind of like a cheat code, I guess. When you're talking about video games, the more you understand video games, the better you can be able to kind of tweak it, or kind of being able to notice those subtle glitches and stuff like that, and can be able to go make it work in your favor. Almost kind of bend. It's almost kind of like bending reality at your will, kind of thing. The video games, you can be able to glitch a game more easily the more you understand video games. And does this have anything to do with like a simulated reality, guys? Maybe. I don't like to call this objective reality a simulation. I understand why people call it, because maybe it's an easier way for them to kind of conceptualize. That's fine. But for me, I don't see it kind of like this simulated dystopian reality. And it's like whether you're like everyone's fake kind of thing. That's it's very, in my opinion, I think if you kind of think of life like that, it's kind of limited and it feels a little confining. I like to see everything as real. Everything that you put your awareness on is what's real. Everything's real, guys. Whatever you put your awareness on. When I talk about frames of mind, guys, there are infinite frames of mind. There are infinite viewpoints. There are infinite ways to look at one person. You can look at someone as a narcissist, or you can look at that same person as the most kind person ever, relative to your frame of mind. If you keep seeing the person the same way, they're going to remain that way. If you see the person from a relatively different angle, different frame of viewpoint, relative to you, they will reveal that angle relative to your frame of mind. I'm not just talking about people too, guys. I'm talking about just everything in the objective universe. How you see yourself in relation to the objective universe. The objective universe simultaneously mirrors your frame of mind. Infinite mirrors, guys. Atomically struck. The world is atomically structured is atomically is a the objective universe is interconnected atomic structure, vibrating on a certain frequency. And even though I talk about self-image, guys, the way you see yourself in relation to the world, you can't always notice the subtle things because you're not always tuned into that state of awareness. That's why some things are easier to pick up than others, because we're all like, our dominant thoughts pick up what we most focus on. What we mostly focus on, that's what reveals to us. When I say dominantly focus on improving a video game, you're going to find the answers to improving the video game. Video games are always an improvement, guys, because our analytical mind, there's always subtle error. But our deeper mind, the field of infinite information, that's where we can be able to refine these objective experiences. To our objective senses, we can be able to refine video games and things like that. So there's always continuous growth, guys. There's always continuous growth in awareness, becoming increasingly aware of what's already existing within ourselves, our frame of mind. The better we understand our frame of mind in relation to the world, the better we can notice the just amazing things are always happening in our favor. When we know how to consciously use our frame of mind in a way that we can add more detail and vividness, our frame of mind, by listening to our success as if we're successful and all that stuff, we'll start behaving like that. When you listen to someone saying, "Wow, you're becoming so successful. You are successful." And you really convince yourself that you are that person, that you are becoming that person, and that you are that person. You'll behave like that person, and you'll start to act like that person without trying to force yourself to act like that person. It just becomes habitual, guys. That's part of your self-identity. When you become that identity, it's hard to break that habit. So yeah, guys. Everything in the objective universe is interconnected energy vibrating on a particular frequency. Your frequency is your state of awareness. As I always say this, I love to reiterate this. When you take the atom, like you split an atom in two, you keep splitting, you get infinite particles of atom, an atom, and it comes down. When you infinitely split it, it's still interconnected energy. When you influence one atom, the other one becomes simultaneously influenced. And within one of those infinitely many atoms is the entire image. So everything's simultaneously influenced, guys. And it's based on it's determined by our frame of mind. We're not controlling the universe. We're simply conforming to the laws of physics, laws of magnetism, electricity, and mathematics. All those things, guys. The more we understand ourselves, our frame of mind, the more we can consciously use our frame of mind in our favor, the better we understand people, circumstances, and events, and being able to master life. Being able to, like, I think I mentioned this before, but a person said to me, life is Tai Chi. When you conform to the laws of physics from your unique frame of mind, and to really make your frame of mind work in your favor, allow your frame of mind to work in your favor, life just becomes that more simple, guys. Don't feel guilty about it. This is conformed to the laws of physics, guys. You're not going against anyone's free will. You're not controlling the universe. You're simply getting different viewpoints of the same universe that has infinitely many viewpoints. That's why you see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer kind of thing. because they're operating from that frame of mind. Your frame of mind determines all your objective experiences, moment by moment. So I hope this video helps, and I bless you all, and happy manifesting.